Let's move on to the main event, dude.
The main event.
So we've got the champion, Kamaru Usman, also known as Marty.
Fake newsman.
Versus Jorge Masvidal.
Jorge Masvidal.
This is going to be a fun one, man.
I
think the fans are more excited for this fight than they were with Gilbert Burns.
Definitely. Well, this was the original fight that they were trying to set up. And then negotiations fell through. Jorge Masvidal didn't like what the UFC was offering. He was on not Joe Rogan's. He was on Chael Sonnen's show today saying that it wasn't about the money, it was about the pay-per-view points.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying, I'm not asking for any more money, but I'm saying if I'm the one drawing the fans in, why don't I get a bigger percentage of the pay-per-view points?
And he's
which is absolutely right.
Because if you look at this card's probably going to do double what it did with Burns as a headliner.
Yeah, just from bringing him on. Look at all the media that's already jumped on
it. Oh,
it.
yeah.
You know, it's the underground's blowing up. Everything's blowing up just by the fact that it's not the Gilbert Burns fight now. It's the original fight that people were looking to see.
Yeah, and that has value.
The mistake that I feel like the UFC made in this fight was not promoting it as the BMF champ versus the welterweight.
It would have been cool to see him put the BMF title on the line.
Well, when I saw that poster, even if you're not putting it on the line, when I saw the poster and you saw Usman wearing his belt, I was like, you did a fight for a belt there with Jorge Masvidal. He should be wearing that thing. He should be wearing that thing in the poster.
Yeah.
Even if it's not up for grabs. It's like when you put a 45-pound fighter versus a 55-pound fighter, and guess what? Even though that 45-pound belt's not up for grabs, you have it in the poster, and then after Conor McGregor goes out and wins it, he wants to hold up both those belts.
Well, right. He became the two-time the double champ.
The 45-pound belt wasn't on the line, but it was still a marketing tool.
Yeah.
So I feel like the UFC missed the boat on promoting that, considering the fact that there's so much hype around the BMF belt that fans are almost demanding that belt to be fought for more.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a cool belt, though. I mean,
it is.
Because it's a belt that you can build pay-per-views around, and you can get exciting fights with it.
You could mix it up because you could have, Jorge Masvidal fight a guy at 85. That 85-pounder could win it and fight at 205.
Yeah, just have it moving around.
It could move around. It could fucking eventually move its way up to heavyweight or move its way back down to the lower weight classes.
That'd be crazy, dude.
So, like, that belt is an interesting belt in the fact that it's not stuck to a weight class.
Yeah.
To me, I think that makes it awesome.
That would be kind of cool to see. But
I mean, where it goes. Just see where it goes.
So George's coming in on a week's notice.
Mm-hmm.
He says he hasn't really been training. I mean, he helped DP with his camp, helped another fighter with his camp.
He was working with his hands before this with Roberto Duran.
Yeah, he says he's been kind of like staying in shape, just doing some stuff, but he hasn't really been training.
Cardio stuff. Yeah, he said he's been in the gym about 2 to 3 times a week.
Yep.
And he's been doing like cardio and road work stuff on the outside of that. And he said that when he was going to the gym, though, they were hard training sessions. He just wasn't trying to put his body through what an actual training camp is like.
But he says he's also got 15 pounds to cut in about 4 days, he said?
Yeah.
So that's going to play a role.
That's going to be hard, but he did say that his room was set up nice for it.
Yeah.
So he has the hot tub. He has a elliptical machine in there. So he has the things to keep him moving and working. I think he said sauna. I don't remember, though, for sure on that. But, he's set up to get the weight off. It is a short time to get all the weight off. And it's a short time to show up for a 5-round fight.
A title fight, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think he's going to try to come out blitzing early but, I mean, George, he never really has had an issue with cardio.
No, and you've seen the way he came out in his fight against Ben Askren. He came right out the gate going crazy. Yeah, you're right. He's never really had the issue of cardio. He's a fighter. He's been a fighter his whole life, and he fights from beginning to end. It's going to make for a super, super exciting fight. Kamaru Usman
is a beast.
Is a monster.
He's a different animal, man. I think
he's a different athlete.
I just don't think he gets credit enough. It's really weird.
Well, it's another one of those things where he kind of grew up in the background. The UFC didn't
Yeah.
really force his image on people until they had no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, because he went through and he dominated people.
When you look at how he beat Tyron Woodley, nobody beat Tyron Woodley. Like, he ragdolled Tyron Woodley.
Until Gilbert Burns did that too.
Yeah,
afterwards.
and then Gilbert Burns comes into it. But I think that also shows that Tyron was just, after that fight just downward.
But he also beat Damian Maia. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos. He beat Sean Strickland. He actually whooped him. That was awesome.
And then the Colby Covington fight, a fight that Covington was arguably winning. I think one judge actually had it 3-1 Covington. One judge had it 3-1 Usman.
Yeah, and then one had it 2-2.
Yeah, and another judge had it 2-2.
Yep, going into that last round.
It was a really close fight. If Usman didn't finish that, we could be looking at Covington Masvidal right now.
We could have been.
It's crazy.
So it was a crazy fight. And up until that point in that last round, Covington was winning that round, I felt like.
Absolutely.
And then he just...
His jaw just couldn't take it.
Dropped him. He
had a broken jaw, dude.
With all sorts of stuff. He hit him with everything. So it was crazy, though. Kamaru Usman, I just feel like he's just a better athlete overall. He's got a lot of really good wins. Jorge Masvidal is a journeyman who I think is finally coming to his own. He's coming off the best year of his life.
Absolutely.
Even if he doesn't win this fight, if he puts up a good fight,
he'll get a full camp rematch.
Yeah, he should be able to get some sort of a rematch as long as it's a good fight. Just because he came in on short notice, we'll see what ends up happening. Him and the UFC came closer to terms when it comes to negotiations. Not exactly what he wanted, but enough to get him back out there fighting.
Well, he actually signed a new 4-fight contract.
Yeah, and he said it wasn't what he wanted, but it wasn't what he wanted, but it was closer.
He said they finally gave him something. But, I mean, with this fight, Usman is just too well-rounded, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think George's kryptonite is fighters that know how to pace themselves. Because when you look at his losses, they come to guys who aren't over-aggressive. You look at Usman, he's going to come out, he's not going to rush him.
Yep.
He's going to work him, he'll work jab. I think he's going to take him down. I think
he's just some wrestling just to keep it.
I think he's just going to take him down and pound him out.
I think that he's going to throw some stuff on the feet though, because he
will.
He wants to show that he's a well-rounded striker. He wants to show that his hands are just as good as his ground game.
Yep.
He's been fighting for a long time in the UFC. At this
I think
point.
He showed that with Covington though.
He did show it with Covington.
That was because I didn't expect him to be able to strike with Covington like that.
No.
Although I was impressed with Covington striking too. It looks so much better.
Great. Covington's got the best jab in the game.
It was just a crazy good fight.
So,
but I've got Usman winning a decision.
Hey, so do I.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's just the way it is. We're going to end the fight on a high note. End the night on a high note.
Kamaru Usman by decision.
It's just with the short notice. Usman to me is a better, well-rounded fighter overall.
Yeah, overall.
I just think that he's got too much going for him that it's just going to be a decision for him. I just don't think he's going to finish him.
Yeah.
He's not much of a finisher, even though he did finish Covington. I think that was due in part to just Covington eating too many shots to the fucking jaw, and it eventually gave out.
Yeah, it happens.